Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case doing a video on how to prepare for a new wave surge in COVID-19 in different parts of the world. This is something that was actually requested in my Spanish channel, by the way. The links are going to be somewhere there below in case you're interested in following me there, practicing your Spanish a bit. The thing is this, there's a lot of cases, a lot more than there used to be. People that were taking this not so seriously are now a lot more worried. So yeah. That's something that you clearly see in places like Argentina. So what is it that you can actually do? Well, first of all, get rid of all the political bias that you may have. This is, this is something that's happening. This is something that you should be well informed and take the steps that you can do so as to, first of all, avoid catching it if you can. And second, if you keep on going with your life as normal and in fact, eventually you do get sick, there's a lot of things that you can do. So if that moment ever comes, you're a lot better prepared just to deal with the disease a lot better. So it's not just about wearing a mask and signaling your wokeness or not. This goes way beyond that. So it's important to be objective in spite of the political BS going on, which there very much is. And all of this is very much used for political objectives, but that should not get in the way of your good common sense. All right, so let's get to it. First of all, one of the things that is least talked about in terms of COVID, which is lowering your stress levels, resting well, getting a lot of sleep. These will help it boost your immune system enormously. This is not just some supposition or guess. This is just a fact. There's a lot of solid information proving that sleeping well, reducing your stress levels, trying to stay calm, doing relaxation, exercises, whatever that may be, enjoying a hobby, just whatever works for you, but just trying to stay relaxed and lowering your stress levels as much as you can, getting as much sleep as you can. This will boost your immune system significantly so, and reducing the chance of you getting sick, and if you do get sick, your body responding a lot better to this. Of course, this just doesn't get a lot of views in the mainstream media, so it's rarely talked about. They just focus on who's wearing or not wearing a mask and that kind of thing, okay? But this is gonna be important for you if you end up getting sick and for your health in general. Of course, eating well, staying at a reasonable weight. It's been more than proven that overweight people, obese people, they're particularly hit hard by COVID. People that are morbidly obese have a huge spike in the chance of their mortality rates. This is all well documented, all well proven. So try to stay as fit as you can, eat healthy, and exercise as well. In terms of your vitamins, it's pretty much a good idea to get your vitamin C, zinc as well is being mentioned quite a bit as having several advantages. Vitamin C and zinc, some people have this opinion that vitamins don't matter all that much, especially with vitamin C. I think that all the research pretty much points at yes, it has at least moderate or greater or less, but there is a benefit to having vitamin C and zinc in your diet. So I would suggest going with it. Same with vitamin D. Vitamin D is one of those things where they see that a lot of people with a deficiency of vitamin D usually get hit worse by COVID. Now, in terms of vitamin D, you can just take a pill or you can just create your own natural vitamin D, which your body does with exposure to sun. Sunlight will make your skin make your own vitamin D. So if you're exposed for like 15-20 minutes outdoor sun exposure, your body makes the right amount of vitamin D for you, and you're not taking a pill specifically for that. Keep in mind one more thing, the color of your skin. The darker your skin is, the more exposure to sun you will need to make more vitamin D. It's also very well documented that darker skin people will usually have a deficiency of vitamin D greater than lighter skinned people. Keep that in mind, especially keep it in mind in terms of your lifestyle. If you're spending a lot of time indoors, if you live in a country where it's usually more cloudy, that sort of thing, this is the kind kind of thing you want to keep in mind and adjust. I would go with 15-20 minutes a day, going outdoors, relaxing a little bit while you're at it, and getting that much necessary sun. This also goes along with having a reasonable diet, eating well-balanced diet, not being overweight. It is very well documented that the fatter you are, the more likely you are to end up getting more complications if you get sick. Mortality rate goes up not only with age, but also with weight. Morbidly obese people, those numbers spike for them in terms of mortality rate. So try to keep a well-balanced diet, exercise as well, eat healthy. This is just common sense stuff that applies not just for COVID, but basically for everything else, all right? While you're at it, also, there's a lot of interesting information regarding fasting, not only intermittent fasting, but fasting for maybe 2-3 days. That's something that there's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of research done in terms of how you recycle your immune system, your white blood cells, when you fast for 2-3 days. That may be a huge boost in your immune system as well, and it's completely natural. You're not messing with anything artificial. Humanity has fasted over thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, naturally so, and there very much is documentation in favor of showing lots of benefits in doing that. Now, in terms of actual protection, we know that you want to have a social distance. This is basically common sense in terms of if someone is sick or if there's a crowd of people and I don't know who's sick, I'm going to be keeping away from that person. You probably heard a couple of meters, 6 feet, whatever it is. At this point, we know that this is spreading through the air. Is it better to be away from someone that is sick? Of course, it always is. Now, this magic number of I'm standing 6 feet away, so I'm good, not so much. Some research has shown that people got infected like in a restaurant, someone sitting at a table and someone sitting at the opposite corner of the room, and he still got infected because of that current of air moving the virus around. So yes, whenever you are indoors, my advice would be the following, because at the same time you cannot stop living. You have to keep on going with your life. This idea of locking everything down and ending the world, that just doesn't make any sense. But if you have some common sense, you can find yourself in places either where there's very reduced number of people. If you can eat outdoors, even better. That's something I personally do if I'm going somewhere, if I have the option, or I look around. Do they have tables outdoors? Fantastic. That's something that works for me. I'll be outdoors, sunshine, UV light, air, that all works fantastically well, so as to avoid finding myself in an indoor place where people that may be sick may be spreading it. All right. Washing your hands, is that necessary even to mention? I mean, people that have any kind of common sense have been washing their hands all day long, even before this, using alcohol, gel, hand sanitizer, things we personally did in our family for as long as I can remember. This is just common sense, all right? And if you don't practice basic hand sanitation, you should have done it already. Now, in terms of the much controversial mask, what it works, what it doesn't, look, if you're trying to stop an airborne disease with a surgical mask, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there's nothing here that says that it has any kind of ratings as to filter anything. And beyond that, beyond the actual material, the real problem with this sort of thing, with these face mask, or I wouldn't even, it's like a surgical mask, technically speaking, that's what this is. That's what this is. Surgical masks were intended to just keep the spit of the doctor or dentist away from your mouth or an open wound. That is basically what a surgical mask is for. In terms of COVID, the thing is this, it doesn't really matter all that much how much this filters. The thing is that whenever you're inhaling, air filters through the side. And as we know already, this is an airborne disease. And whenever you're exhaling, this idea that you're saving someone from getting getting sick because you're wearing this. This all works like a giant valve. It just moves away from your face when you're exhaling, and air just flows freely around it because there's no way physical for this to keep that from happening. This is going to be working on itself like a valve, moving back and forth as you inhale and exhale. And when you inhale, air filters all around this thing, all right? And it has no rating whatsoever. So what you're basically looking at is, remember the old N95, which was the thing that the CDC would recommend before it went all political and started changing its tune. And N95 is basically what you need. It's going to be giving you a reasonable level of protection, either like the ones that are like a cup or these ones that fold. In general, the one that I would recommend for someone that wants to use good common sense, okay? I'm going, and this of course is going to be depending on where you live. If you have like a mandated wearing mask thing going on, maybe you go about with this. And when you really want to have protection, my advice is go for something that the CDC back in the day said worked. The N95 mask is the minimum that's going to be providing you a level of protection. Now, it's not so much about the material filtering or not. With an N95, it's going to be filtering 95% of the particles. The problem is that you need a good fit around your face, because if not, it just goes in on the sides. This is not sealing properly, so air still goes in whenever you're inhaling, especially if you're indoors or if you're like in an airplane or whatever it is that you are close with people that may be sick. You may end up catching it because it's just not sealing properly. This has a much better seal. This one in particular, the folding mask from 3M, I guess there's other brands, but 3M in particular, guys, 3M has been investing millions of dollars in research and development for this sort of thing. That's why doctors, nurses, medical professionals that are in contact with sick people, they will usually either wear this or an actual mask. But you're not going to be seeing anyone exposed to real COVID wearing this. You're going to be seeing them wearing this. This one, in my experience, seals quite well in most faces, and you have a bit of this foam here that helps with that gap, which is usually hard to get in your nose. Right? This works very well. And you have the valve and the plastic piece that is directing the exhaled air downwards through the valve and this plastic piece. Unlike this, which is going to be, or even this one, these ones without any valve, your entire face mask becomes a valve when you're inhaling and exhaling, sending air all around. At least this is directed downwards in a safer place. Now, if you're looking at something that provides real protection as of having no leakage, then you need an actual mask. You need something like this. Are people wearing this? Well, I wear it in supermarkets. I think this is a good idea. Either this or something like that. The minimum protection I will go is something that is at least FFP2 or N95. That's the minimum that I would wear indoors where people may be sick. If it's something that's like indoors with a lot of people, this is what I'm comfortable with. Do people mostly wear it? No, a lot don't. But if you're just trying to go along with the crowd, maybe you're in the wrong channel, my man. This is not about being socially accepted. This is about being smarter than the average sheep that just follows the crowd. This is something that's going to be sealing around your mouth properly. These are filters that will filter those particles. These are P3, similar to an N100 or an N99 filter. So yeah, this is real protection. Same as that mask over there. Now, I have worn that, especially at first during the pandemic when we were still trying to figure out how bad things were. That's the mask I used for months. I'm not kidding. That's just what I did because I couldn't care less what other people think. I just do my own thing and look after myself. And at that time, yeah, we just didn't know enough. At this point, I'm happy enough with something like this. This is not going to be protecting your eyes, and the virus could very much well indeed get into your eyes, through your eyes as well. But it seems to be that the greatest thing, the greatest threat is inhaling the virus, and that's how most people get sick with it, or at least seriously so. There's also some research in terms of the load of virus that you're getting. Like if you get a lot of virus, you get sick worse. Doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense when you're talking about virus, but the virus load seems to be quite important. Like people working in a hospital environment, or in a home for old people, and inhaling a lot of the virus, those people seem to get sick worse. There was a case in UK where some asshole sick with COVID spat in a cop's face, and the cop ended up dying. So there seems to be some relation between how much virus you're getting and how bad you respond to it. So the more you can reduce it, I think that makes sense as well. Okay, so in terms of masks and such, that's where we're at, and what I suggest. Go with these. These are very handy. They fold nicely. They have been designed. 3M has invested a ton of money, and I don't work for 3M, dude. Buy something else. I don't care. I couldn't care less what brand it is. Just go with something that has a good product. These ones, for example, JSP. I have a couple of these. These are P3, and that's the rating for 99.95% of the particles. These are nice masks, efficient, work well, and they're kind of cool looking as well. So if you're gonna be exposed, really, like if you work in a hospital, in a home with people that may be infected, I would go with an actual mask, no matter what anyone else thinks or says. Now, in terms of exercise and working out, that's also something that you should be doing for your own health. And the more you do this, the healthier you are. You're also boosting, yes, your immune system. I do like 3.5, 4 kilometers of elliptic trainer. That's with a 12 kilogram flywheel and at level 19. Just as to give you an indication of the kind of exercise I try to do myself. I post about it every once in a while in Instagram, but I honestly do it every single day. All right, I do it because it just it makes you feel good. You feel healthier. You just feel better in general. But for the disease, this is something that's also important, so as to have that improved cardiovascular system. No, I'm not a fitness channel here. Just know the basics. I know that you should be working out like 3 or 4 times a week, about half an hour or an hour of moderate intensity physical activity, so as to have that cardiovascular exercise you basically need, so as to stay healthy. If you're not doing it, you definitely should be doing it. I have my wife's weights. These are 1 kilo. These seem like kind of silly, but there's a lot of exercise, especially for boxing. I used to use 1 kilogram weights for a lot of the arm stuff, different exercise for keeping your arms strong. For boxing, you don't need like to bulk up or have a huge arm. You want something that is strong and it's fast. It's not too much mass. Like with a bodybuilder, right? Now, at the same time, it gets to a point in your life where you do want to have some muscle tone and not lose muscle mass, and then you start working with these, heavier weights, as we have that muscle not going away. Exercising, boxing. My wife does whatever she does, like aerobic exercise, a bit of yoga or whatever. Just find something that works for you. If you have something that works for you, that's perfect, but do some exercise and try to do it 3-4 times a week. That makes a lot of sense, not only for COVID, but a healthy lifestyle in general. A lot of this stuff applies, absolutely everything that you see here not only applies to COVID, but applies to preparedness in general. The stuff about masks, this has a lot of applications beyond pandemic, okay? One final thing, get yourself the oxygen meter. This checks your oxygen in blood. It should be like 95 to 99% or 100%, whatever it is. I think that anything less than 96 or 97, I think that less than 95 maybe is the thing that should be worrying you. So you want to get one of these because they're very cheap. They just cost a few bucks. I'll leave the link below for some of these. So these are very cheap little gadgets, and if you do end up getting sick and you want to monitor yourself, this is the way you do it. You're going to be checking and seeing how much oxygen in blood you're getting. If it's dropping below like the 96, 95%, yeah, then you want to be heading to a hospital because things are not going to be looking good. If you're fine, 97, 98, 99, 100, then you may be just deal with it from home yourself, resting and such, and that's that. You create your own natural defenses to the disease, and that's gonna be it. Folks, hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Have an awesome day. Take care.